I'm going to start with you, David. Do you agree with the president that letting in Syrian refugees is no different than, say, tourists?
Since 9/11, 785,000 refugees have been resettled in the U.S. Less than 5 have been accused of trying to engage in terrorist acts. None have actually engaged in terrorist acts, and none of those were Syrians. This is not a problem. Why? Because the refugee status program is a very, very significant vetting process. It involves not just interviewing the refugee applicants, but also cross-checking that information against databases.
What database?
Human intelligence.
David, I'm still trying to figure out. I've heard exactly those talking points for 4 days now, the 745 number. I don't know. I can think of a few instances where some refugees did cause some mayhem in America. What database are they vetting these refugees against? Or are they calling Syria saying, hey, give me these guys' criminal records? What do their high school transcripts look like?
No, they're using intelligence databases. They're also comparing it to information that they get from human intelligence, from signal intelligence,
look at them, David.
from
Look
tracking
at the
communications
pictures. Look at the video. Do you think there's databases on these people? These are groups of mobs of people walking across the border. You think there's a vetting process? Let me go with you, Steve. Talk to me about this. Logic says that a lot of what we're doing seems to be smoke and mirrors. They may take 18 to 24 months to bring them in, but do we really know who's coming across the border?
Well, look, for the most part, most of these people are, in fact, legitimate refugees. They meet all the criteria. They're not any problem at all. But to say that the problem or the threat is zero is just ludicrous. It is a possibility that someone could get in this way. The Tsarnaev brothers were on refugee status. This stuff, you can't just blow it off. The idea that our vetting process is so perfect for Arabic language names coming from Syria is crazy. We get that stuff wrong all the time.
Not only
so
that,
stepping
David,
up that level is the right thing to do.
We also need to point out that a lot of these new ISIS terrorists are using fake passports, or using fake information. We caught, or the Turkish people caught 8 ISIS fighters trying to travel from Turkey and get into Germany with fake Syrian passports.
Well,
you're absolutely right. This stuff is not that easily resolved. And when Ben Rhodes or the president says, oh, this is all taken care of, we got this, nobody should really believe that 100%.
David, what about those people using fake information? I mean, as Steve points out, it takes one to kill a lot of people.
You're mixing apples and oranges here. You're talking about people going from one country to another illegally or passing across a border illegally.
No, I'm not. I'm talking about Syrians that want to come into this country. Who's to say, number one, are we going to be able to vet them? And number two, who knows the information they're giving the people who are vetting our people, if they're giving them even real information, or we're getting fake information?
But we're specifically talking about one program, which is the refugee program. There are lots of ways Syrians can come to the U.S. Right now we're talking about the refugee program. The refugee program requires a significant vetting process. It's more likely that a Syrian terrorist could get here through a student visa, through a visitor's visa. That's in fact how the 19 terrorists who engaged in the 9/11 attacks got here. None of them were refugees.
Right.
None came through the refugee process.
David makes a great point. If we're worried about the, 2,000 or so refugees that have come over in the last year, maybe we should worry about how many countless that have come across our southern border and are trying to come across our southern border now.
Oh, every one of these ways into the country need to have more scrutiny. I'm not saying we should keep all these people out. That's wrong. We should allow these programs to continue, but adding a little extra scrutiny, maybe running them against Israeli databases, Jordanian databases. I know we're not touching all those things in this program. We need to up our game a little bit, not close the game down.
David, did you know that the State Department today announced that once refugees come into this country, 90 days after they're here, they don't track them anymore?
Well, and that hasn't been a problem. We've had 785,000 refugees come here. 9/11, and fewer than 10 have engaged in any planning of terrorist acts. This is not a problem. You need to focus on the problems. Why are Republicans trying to pass a law to fix a problem that's not a problem? I thought Republicans were for limited government. Let's focus on the ways that terrorists actually get here. It's actually more likely that a person born in the U.S. would engage in terrorism than a person who is a refugee who goes through this significant vetting process would become a terrorist.
All right, we're going to have to leave it there. There's a whole new world, though, guys. I got to tell you, ISIS says they want New York and they want Washington next. I'm not surprised that we have 30 governors to say not in my state. Gentlemen, thank you very much.